founder and executive director of Talk Mentoring. Dr. Harold Davis brings to the role author a variety of life experiences, including ministry, school teacher, professional musician, businessman, entrepreneur, husband, and father. A native of Charleston, West Virginia, Dr. Davis has accepted the call to the gospel ministry in 1984, and 2 years later became the assistant pastor and pastor of the youth ministry at Canaan Baptist Church in Urbana, where he served for 12 years since 1998. Dr. David has devoted his full attention to the effort of assisting adults reach youth in their church and communities through mentoring programs using the curriculum talks my father never had with me. His work on behalf of young men has been recognized. Dr. David is the recipient of the Illinois Fatherhood Initiative 3rd Ricky Birdson Award and a Those Who Excellent Award presented by the Illinois State Board of Education. Additionally, he has been recognized by the Champaign County Commission and the Toastmaster groups. Harold D. Davis holds the Master of Ministry and Doctor of Ministry degree and honored from the Bethlehem Theological Seminary, and has authored several books, including Never Alone, dated from the Bible perspective, Can I Call You Soldier, and the Talk Mentor and Curriculum Series. He has served on the faculty of the Moody Bible College Pastor Conference and has been heard on Focus on the Family Life Today, and Monday Matters radio program. Dr. Davis and his wife, Dr. Ollie Watts Davis, makes their home in Champaign, Illinois. They are the parents of 5 children and 1 grandchild. Please give them a nice hand for Dr.
Every boy needs a man in his space, challenging him with wisdom regarding critical issues and decisions in his life. Every boy needs a man who will firmly, unflinchingly, and lovingly correct him with wisdom when he's made a bad decision. Our prisons are filled with young men who have no one to get in their face and tell them that they're wrong and then provide them with a solution. How y'all doing tonight? I'm certainly glad to be here. I would like to thank NCAAM for this award. Thank you, Artis, and the rest of the fellows. I would like to thank, first of all, God and His Son, Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for Him, I was a complete idiot before I met Him. Amen. And He straightened my life out. And I would like to thank the woman that said yes when I asked her. Amen. 31 years ago, Dr. Oliver said, we are in a biblical covenant relationship. We don't have a contract. You can break a contract, but you can't break a covenant. And I'm just delighted to be here. Every minister has his thing. And God has constructed me that I'm obsessed with helping kids. Just obsessed with helping kids. I can feel their pain. I see their hurt. Several years ago, I was at Franklin Magnet Middle School. Catherine Fletcher, Muriel, you know her. Those of you in education know Catherine. She is not a petite. She is a brunette, and I look her dead in the eye. She's not the type of principal I'd mess with if I was in middle school. You understand what I'm saying? She's not a small woman. I went and I knocked on her door, and she cracked the door and stuck her head out the door, and her eyes were red. Her hair was frazzled. And I looked behind her. She had 3 little shorties sitting behind her. And they were obviously giving her a hard time. And she looked at me and she said, Reverend Davis, I've heard the African-American proverb that it takes a whole village to raise a child. I've got the children. Where's the village? And she said it just like that. And I thought to myself, here this woman is trying to deal with these three knuckleheads. And she don't know nothing about knuckleheads. I'm the one who knows about knuckleheads. I have a PhD in knuckleheadedness. And if I was in church, I'd ask the men to say amen. Amen. Because you men, you know we knuckleheads. We just grew up. So I began to work with the boys. And pretty soon I was overwhelmed because the boys kept coming. I began to get my friends. Every man got 3 boys. And next thing you know, we had 9 men working with boys at the school, and every man had 3 boys. And the next year we had 21 men working with boys. And then we began to work with women and the girls, and the talks program grew exponentially. I want you to think about this. We have a crisis in America. Let me say it like this. How do you expect a 15-year-old boy to know what to do with a girl and nobody's taught him? I remember when I was 15, I wanted some sex, but I didn't know what it was, but I wanted some. And today, boys are struggling. Listen to me. If you want to destroy a people, separate the boys from the men. That's how you destroy a people. In our communities, the boys have been separated from the men. They don't have a clue what to do, how to do it. Anytime you have that type of separation, you have a crisis. So we engage boys in critical dialogue in a systematic, structured way. Men are famous at doing things for boys. They'll take them camping and fishing once and they don't see them for 4 more months. So we have a systematic, structured approach to sharing wisdom with children where it won't stretch you, it won't tax you. Men sharing wisdom with boys, women sharing wisdom with girls. Every woman gets 3 girls, a high-performing, mid-performing, low-performing. And every man gets 3 boys, a high-performing, mid-performing, low-performing. We put them in the same group. You go to the school and you sit down with them, and the first thing you walk in, you say, why am I here? They say, to take care of business. You say, what is the business? They say, wisdom. You say, let's get busy. And you start kicking wisdom. Our boys have, do you know if you don't have a father, you have a deficit? That's not politically correct to say that. But if you don't have a father, you have a deficit. I want to say, I go to the JDC every Friday. It's the high point of my week. Oh, it just blesses me to be with those boys. I go in there, I look at them, such incredible potential that they have. But if I ask who has fathers, nobody raises their hands. Nobody to guide them. Nobody to help them deal with their wild horses. Men are crazy. I said men are crazy. I was telling a young boy the other day, I said, I've never had a problem with the police. The police have never been a problem for me. Because my daddy said, son, if I ever have to come down to that jail and get you out, I was scared of my daddy. I've never been scared of the police. I was scared of my daddy. And young boys who have wild horses and nobody to help them control them. See, principles are animated in the context of a personality. And by that I mean, when I go to Rockford, you go to Bloomington and you go up 39. 39 should be illegal because it's flat and it's straight. And I don't know when I drive my wife's car, something wrong with the car because I get on 39 and the car goes right up to 90 miles an hour. I don't know what's wrong. I see the principles stated on the side of the road. It says 65. Those are the principles. But there's no personality. But every now and then, as you hit the curb in the median, you'll see one of those little cars with the little thing on the top with the stripes on the side. That's the personality that enforces the principles. It's amazing how that car goes right down 65. It's just amazing. We have a generation of young men who have no one to enforce principles. That's why the boys are doing whatever they want to do. I would like to say to you, our schools are struggling to handle our kids. If you go to the detention room, it's filled with black kids. I walked in Franklin the other day and I looked at the kids and they're just happy. They don't even know that they don't even know that they're, somebody finished. They don't even know that they're what? Somebody help me. They don't know that they're what? In trouble. I walked in and I said, don't y'all. I said, ain't y'all sick of being in here? They looked at me like I was crazy. Listen to this. There are some fundamentals that a person needs to understand in order to be successful and stay successful. Fundamental number one is an understanding of how you were raised and what those who raised you did right and what they did wrong. This is called your orientation. Gaining an understanding of your orientation is important because it will provide you with objectivity, fairness when dealing with yourself and others. We need to work with our children and let them know if you weren't raised with a father, there's some things that you need to learn. If you were raised in a situation where you weren't taught economics, we need to teach you. Our children have such deficits. And let me say this, and I'm about through. I went to Chicago to speak on the west side. It was a very bad neighborhood. I was speaking at a church. The neighborhood was so bad that while I went in to speak, two men watched my car so we had something to go home in. And I had my son with me. My son was 13 years old at the time. We walked in and there were a group of boys over there. My son went and sat with the boys. I went and talked to the pastor. The pastor said, yes, we have this program to help these boys. And he pointed to the boys. He said, all of these boys are in gangs. And most of them have been incarcerated. And a couple of them have killed people. And I looked at my son. I said, oh my God. My son was raised at Cranford Center for the Performing Arts. He's an Eagle Scout. He's never been in a good fight in his life. First thing I said, Lord, don't let me say the wrong thing, because we don't know. You could not look at my son and visually distinguish him from, y'all help me a little bit. You couldn't tell by looking at him. Dawned on me that my son has to grow up in this world. He has to walk up and down these streets. And I take responsibility as a man. I wish I had some men in here. I said, I take responsibility for my community, for my neighborhood, and for the people. I have 3 daughters. And I tell men all the time, if you don't have anybody to marry your daughter, it's your fault because you're not raising no boys. No longer can we afford just to raise our own kids. We got to raise everybody's kids, because one crazy kid with a gun or something can hurt everybody. Y'all talk to me. Yeah. So that's why we have the Talks Ministry program. Just not too long ago, it was about 3 years ago, Joe Stovall, we got a call from Centennial High School. They said it's going to be a fight on Friday. Word was out, it's going to be a fight on Friday. So me, Joe, and Nick Banks, and about 4 other men, we went over there. We met with all of our boys. We were meeting with about 40 boys. And we were able to engage them in dialogue. I said we were able to engage them in critical dialogue. And we challenged them. We got in their grill. And listen to this. They received what we were saying because we meet with them regularly. And they know we care about them. So we were able to engage in the dialogue, and there was no fight Friday. Now, I'm not saying we did it, but I sure like to think we had something to do with it. So we have a crisis. I say it like this: America has lost its mind. Black folks have lost their natural born mind. And those of us who are yet mature and have some sense, we need to engage the young people in a systematic, structured way, sharing wisdom with them. That's about all I have to say. Thank you.